Time to bring the data from WordPress right into a Dreamweaver page. This lesson will show you how to make a database connection, create a record set, and then add the data from that record set to your Dreamweaver page. In Dreamweaver, let's open up Events. I'm going to click on Open, and then go to the exercise files, choose Chapter 7, the code folder, and then choose events.php. I'll open that and it will come in unstyled, but the very first thing we're going to do is save it to the local site root. So choose File, Save As, and then choose Site Root to make sure that it goes there, and click Save. Now you do not want to update the links because this is coming in with all the links intact, and there we have our basic page restyled with an events header. The next step is to create a connection to the MySQL database used by WordPress. So let's go up to our window menu and open up the databases. And this will open up that whole tab group. And we want to add a new MySQL connection. So click on the plus sign there. And in the dialog box, give it a name. We'll call it Con, short for Connection, Events. And now we're going to use the MySQL localhost server and enter in our username and password. And then select the database by clicking Select. And here you see the databases that are available, including our Explorer_CA. Click OK. And let's test that to make sure it connects OK. Everything looks beautiful. We'll click OK and OK again to connect that. Now we're ready to go over to the Bindings tab. And here you can see that we have 3 out of the 4 steps already set up. We're going to complete that 4th step by adding a record set. But that record set is going to use a fairly complex bit of SQL. To save a little time, I've gone ahead and created that for you. I'm going to open up the file from our exercise files. And let's go back to the exercise files, Chapter 7, Code, and open up the file called recordset.sql. Because it's a text file, it'll open up in Dreamweaver. So you'll notice this is a somewhat complex SQL statement. Basically what we're doing here is we're selecting a set of records that we want to be distinct so that there are no duplicates. And we're going to bring in the WordPress post title, the content from those posts, and we're doing this from 2 different tables. One from the table called Post, which is self-explanatory, and then also the WP Term Relationships table, which is the table that monitors the categories, among other things, and its relationship to the various posts. So after the connection is made between the 2 tables, with this statement, we want to make sure that we're also filtering on a field called Post Status that is set to private, and another field in the WP Term Relationships table called Term Taxonomy ID set to a specific value. And what is that value? Well, it's going to be the category number that we saw earlier, which, as you'll recall, is 4. So the order of the records that are returned, we want to set so that the newest one comes up first. So this is set to be ordered by descending date. So let's select this and then copy it with a Command or Control-C and go back to our events page. Now we're ready to set up the record set. I'll go to the Bindings panel and choose the plus sign and choose Record Set. Now if your Record Set dialog box opens in the simple mode, switch it over to Advanced. And if you're already in Advanced, you're ready to go. So let's change the name, make it RS Events or Record Set Events. Make sure that your connection is set to Con Events. And then in the SQL text area, paste in your SQL statement that we copied. Let's go ahead and test this. And here you see the one record that we have, Pie Eating Contest, and a little bit of the content there. That looks good. We click OK, and then OK one more time to close the record set. All right, we're ready to bring this onto the page. So I'm going to put my cursor where I'd like the title to appear, and then go over to Post Title here, click on that once, and then choose Insert. And right after it, I'll hit Return to make a new line, and then I can just drag Post Content on. Okay, let me save the page, and let's go into Live View to take a look. Well, here it is, our content entered in WordPress and now displayed in Dreamweaver in Live View. Pretty zippy, eh? Now at the moment, this dynamic page would only show one event. It would always show the most current. Let's set it up so that it'll show multiple events. So let me drop out of Live View, and I'm going to hit Return, and then put in one more element, a horizontal rule, and then hit my right arrow to go after the horizontal rule and enter a paragraph return to give a little bit more space. I could, of course, do this with CSS styling, but that's not pertinent for what we're trying to do. So now we're ready to add a Dreamweaver server behavior. Let's open up into split view. That makes it easier to select content sometimes. So I'm going to select my H1, my paragraph, my horizontal rule, and the first paragraph that's empty. And now with that selected, let's go over to the server behavior panel and then click the add button and choose repeat region. Now make sure, of course, that your record set is set to RS event. And let's go ahead and click all records so that we get any sort of event that is set up. Click OK. And now if we go into live view, save the page, you'll see the event, but you'll also see the start of the repeat region, which is the horizontal rule. So let's go add in some more content. I'll go back to WordPress and add a new post. And this time we have a Surfin' Dogs exhibition to tout. And of course, you don't want to miss this tail wagging event. Let's find out when and where it is. It has to be on a beach, of course. And we'll put it in a nice summer day and put a little cost. Well, we got to feed the talent, so let's make it 1 dog biscuit. Okay. Now we're going to do those 2 things we did before, where we change the visibility to private. And because we already have events set up, we can just check off events and then update the post. So now let's go back to Dreamweaver and refresh our live view. And you can see that the new event was just added. And there's our separator, a little bit of space, and our second post, all in proper date order. Now this is really just the start of what you can do with data from a WordPress-driven database. All of the other Dreamweaver server behaviors are at your disposal as well.